I don't know if in your life, and I'm sure most of you have, there's happiness and there's definitely sadness. And we hope and we long for the happiness and we hope the sadness doesn't last. But a lot of times we can fall into deep sadness, not even just as people, but as families. You can get into almost a destructive sadness where you are looking at the world and the views of the world, and you're not looking at the future and the present using the eyeglasses of the Torah and the hope of the Messiah and the ultimate excitement that we aren't just some random exploded beings that just came, that happenstance, that we came from some amoebas, single cell amoebas, and ended up as monkeys and fish and walking around. And none of that makes any sense. The only thing that makes any sense whatsoever is that we have a creator, a designer. Not just a designer or creator, because I could call myself a creator. I've built ISPs before. I've built fields. I've done stuff. But I'm not really a creator. I'm more of just a maintainer of what has been created. And when you look at this creation, everything is perfect. And I've talked about this before ad nauseum about how perfect creation is. And the only thing wrong with the entire setup is sin. The only thing that separates us from light is the darkness of sin. And in this next section, Adam and Kawa, Eve, they are very depressed, right? We are only a day outside of them booted from the garden. And they've already died a couple of times. They're literally in hours spans of time. They've already died a couple of times from grief, from their hearts failing, from the sickness and when you get into this kind of sadness, it can completely dwell upon you. And most of us have blamed Adam and Eve as like some disobedient people that, we would have done this way better. We would have never disobeyed Yah. We would have never done this. We would have. We would have all fallen into the same trap and probably even worse. The only thing we should be thankful for is that we did not have to learn on our feet the same way that Adam and Eve had to learn. It is an incredible story, and this continues on. And here we are. Then Adam and Eve went in search of the garden home, and the heat beat like the flame on their faces, and they sweated from the heat and wept before the Lord. Now, why is that such a big deal? Well, even though they were in the garden, I don't think they had to toil like they did here. I don't think it was the exact same thing. All of these things are new to them. They didn't know they had to drink water or they would die. They did not know that they were going to sweat in the heat. Imagine being 30 years old, just being born, and all of a sudden your body starts getting super hot and beads of water start coming out. You have no idea what's coming on. You just get super hot. Feels like a curse. Verse 3. But the place where they wept was nigh unto a high mountain, facing the western gate of the garden. Then Adam threw himself down from the top of the mountain. His face was I think it's supposed to be torn, and his flesh was flayed. I think that's some sort of weird dysfunction. But yeah, his face was torn, and his flesh was flayed. Much blood flowed from him, as he was nigh unto death. And this is, again, these are creatures created that don't understand that when we get a bump, we get hurt. Adam was done. He tossed himself from the top of a mountain. Meanwhile, Eve remained standing on the mountain, weeping over him, thus lying. And she said, I wish not to live after him, for all that he did to himself was through me. Then she herself Then she threw herself after him and was torn and scotched by stones and remained lying as dead. They were dead. But the merciful Yahuwah, who looks upon his creatures, looked upon Adam and Eve as they lay dead, and he sent his word unto them and raised them, and said to Adam, O Adam, all this misery which thou hast wrought upon thyself will not avail against my rule, neither will it alter the covenant of the 5,500 years. This is the first time we actually hear a year count on this whole thing. So we are dealing, it's almost as if he's dealing with giant children, like the giant child who will be in the store, not even a giant child, children will be in the store and they flip themselves to the ground, start screaming. And, you know, you're sitting there watching that go down and you're like, wow, I need a spanking stick to help that mother out. That's what Yahuwah was doing here. He's like, Adam, you can toss yourself down the mountainside and keep dying, but it's not going to change any of this. You got to put your big boy pants on. You do the crime, we're doing the time. Then Adam said to God, Yahuwah, I will wither in the heat. I am faint from walking and am loth of this world, and I know not when thou wilt bring me out of it to rest. Then Yahuwah Elohim said unto him, O Adam, it cannot be at present, not until thou hast ended thy days. Then shall I bring thee out of this wretched land. And Adam said to Yahuwah, while I was in the garden, I knew neither heat nor languor, neither moving around nor trembling nor fear. But now since I came to this land, all this affliction has come upon me. Excuse me. Then Yahuwah said to Adam, so long as thou wast keeping my commandment, my light and my grace rested on thee. But when thou didst transgress my commandment, sorrow and misery befell thee in this land. I'm going to pause on this thing and we'll talk about this, right? This applies to us today. The curse of breaking the Torah is not only spiritual death, but we are also cursed in this walk in life. If we are one of these people that are promiscuous, that can't keep our clothes on, we are going to get infested with some sort of miserable itch, probably end up dead. You will end up with diseases and things of that nature. That is part of the curses, right? That is because we sinned and we're living in sin. That is what he says. When you were keeping my commandments, my light and grace rested on thee. My friends, this same light and grace will rest on us if we are keeping the laws, statutes, and commands. It does not mean that our days are going to be peaceful. It does not mean we will have wonderful days every day. It does not mean any of that. It just means that we will not fall under the affliction and the curses that Yah delivers himself. And Adam, verse 5, wept and said, O Yahuwah, do not cut me off for this, neither smite me with heavy plagues, nor yet repay me according to my sin. For we, of our own will, did transgress thy commandment and forsook thy law and sought to become gods like unto thee, when Satan the enemy deceived us. This is important, folks. This is important that Adam acknowledges what he did. We don't want to play the Eeyore game. Remember Eeyore, the sad donkey on Winnie the Pooh? He's sad about everything, right? Oh, Eeyore, right? This is our fault. If we are living in a curse of today, it is probably because of the sin we committed yesterday. If we are living in sorrow and sadness, it is probably because we have not gotten our life under control. Under control means in the hands of Yahuwah. In the hands of Yahuwah means keeping the laws, statutes, and commands, and having the faith in Messiah Yahushua. And Adam wept, do not cut me off. Okay, so he said, thy commandment forsook thy law and sought to become like gods unto thee when Satan the enemy deceived us. Then Yahuwah said unto Adam, because thou hast borne fear and trembling in this land, languor and suffering, treading and walking about, going up on the mountain and dying from it, I will take all this upon myself in order to save thee. Wow. What does that mean? It means that he's getting it. Adam is getting it. He's starting to live in fear. You were born in fear. This was your life. It wasn't supposed to be like this. It was not supposed to be like this. 23, excuse me. Then Adam wept more and said, O Yahuwah, have mercy on me, as far as to take upon thee that which I do. But Yahuwah took his word from Adam and Eve. Then Adam and Eve stood on their feet, and Adam said to Eve, gird thyself, and I will also gird myself. And she girded herself as Adam told her. Then Adam and Eve took stones and placed them in the shape of an altar. And they took leaves from the trees outside the garden, with which they wiped from the face of the rock the blood they had spilled. But that which had dropped on the sand they took together with the dust, wherewith it was mingled and offered upon the altar as an offering unto Yahuwah. This is very interesting. This is the very first time that we hear about something of this sort, where he is gathering rocks and he is going to create an altar. But what's interesting is he's thinking it is his blood that will be appeasing to Yah. Verse 6, Then Adam and Eve stood under the altar and wept, thus entreating Yahuwah, Forgive us our trespass and our sin, and look upon us with thine eyes of mercy. For when we were in the garden, our praises and our hymns went up before thee without ceasing. But when we came into the strange land, pure praise was no longer ours, nor righteous prayer, nor understanding hearts, nor sweet thoughts, nor just counsels, nor long discernment, nor upright feelings. Neither is our bright nature left us, but our body is changed from the similitude in which it was at first, when we were created. So, in our life, if we are sad, if we are broken, if we are whatever it is that we are at this certain point in time, this is the hope that we are looking for, right? At the end of time, at the end of day, it's going to go back to where we are, the praise will be ours. We will have righteous prayer. We will have understanding hearts. We will have sweet thoughts. We will have just counsels. We will have long discernment. We will have upright feelings. Can you imagine every single day, the world is so chemified out. It's on antidepressants. It's on every kind of drugs. It's on everything because we're just trying to find ease to the pain. Verse 8, Yet now look upon our blood, which is offered upon these stones, and accept it at our hands, like the praise we used to sing unto thee at first, when in the garden. And Adam began to make more requests unto Yahuwah. So this is in some footnotes here. This is interesting. 1611, original of the Lord's Prayer, said to be used about 150 years before our Lord, our Father, who art in heaven. That was interesting because it did say that above that, but it was kind of a prayer. All right, let's go. Chapter 24. 10, the merciful God, good and lover of men, looked upon Adam and Eve. I don't know why it starts off with 10. Oh, amen. I don't know. 10, the merciful God, good and lover of men, looked upon Adam and Eve and upon their blood, which they had held up as an offering unto him, without an order from him for doing so. But he wondered at them and accepted their offerings. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. And Yahuwah sent from his presence a bright fire that consumed their offering. He smelt the sweet savor of their offering and showed them mercy. Then came the word of Yahuwah to Adam and said unto him, O Adam, as thou hast shed thy blood, so will I shed my own blood when I become flesh of thy seed. And as thou didst die, O Adam, so also will I die. And as thou didst build an altar, so also will I make for thee an altar on the earth. And as thou didst offer thy blood upon it, so also will I offer my blood upon the altar of the earth. Now again, we can get into some very interesting discussion here when we talk about this. Because what it says is Yah will put his blood upon the altar. But here is the gig. If I have a son and I put him on the altar, he is my blood as well. My blood will go to the altar. So we cannot take something we do not understand and make it into something it is not. Because it is very, very, very clear. Even our Messiah Yahushua said he was the son of Elohim. When they asked him, are you the son of Elohim? He told Pilate, you say that. I mean, he doesn't deny, this is not the thing. Our creator did not die. So we don't want to take wrong teachings into something like this, right? He will shed his own blood. Yes. When he becomes flesh. Yes. Flesh of thy seed, right? Of thy seed, right? He is going into the seed of Adam, the Ruach HaKodesh impregnates Mary, and that the rest is history. It's still his blood upon the altar, right? Verse 5. And as thou didst sue for forgiveness through that blood, so also will I make my blood forgiveness of sins and blot out transgressions in it. Again, we got to be founded in the Torah. And now, behold, I have accepted thy offering, O Adam, but the days of the covenant wherein I have bound thee are not fulfilled. When they are fulfilled, then I will bring thee back into the garden. So, from the time that Adam was kicked out to the time he probably died, he was fighting to get back into that garden. The garden is where we want to be. Verse 7. Now therefore, strengthen thy heart, and when sorrow comes upon thee, make me an offering, and I will be favorable to thee. Okay, so now we have a way. We have a way to get to our Creator, right? And this is not a commandment. This is something for Adam, right? We don't have this commandment. This is not something that when we are feeling sorrowful that we will go and we'll put a sacrifice on there, because we have Messiah Yahushua, and he is the fulfillment of all of this. And the fulfillment not being that we don't have to do it, but the fulfillment that our Creator did what he said he was going to do. All right, 25. But Yahuwah knew that Adam had in his thoughts that he should often kill himself and make an offering to him of his blood. Therefore did he say unto him, O Adam, do not again kill thyself as thou didst, by throwing thyself down from that mountain. But Adam said unto Yahuwah, it was in my mind to put an end to myself at once, for having transgressed thy commandments, and for my having come out of the beautiful garden, and for the bright light of which thou hast deprived me, and for the praises which poured forth from my mouth without ceasing, and for the light that covered me. Yet of thy goodness, O Yahuwah, do not away with me altogether, but be favorable to me every time I die, and bring me to life. So Adam's not taking the word of Yah very seriously here, because he's like, hey, when I keep dying, bring me back to life. Yah's like, don't kill yourself. This isn't the way to do it. And thereby, it will be, verse 5, it will be made known that thou art a merciful Yahuwah, who willest not that one should perish, who lovest not that one should fall, and who dost not condemn anyone cruelly, badly, and by whole destruction. Then Adam remained silent. And the word of the Lord came unto him, and blessed him, and comforted him, and covenanted with him, and he would save him at the end of the days determined upon him. This, then, was the first offering Adam made unto Yahuwah. So it became his custom to do. All right. Hope you guys are with me. Much love.